the skull with the top of the spine. If you're comfortable closing the eyes, go ahead and close the eyes. If you're not, then just find a gaze point in front of you, a couple of feet, and just soften the gaze. And we're going to start with the breath. Nice big inhalation, drawing air in through the nostrils. And I want you to imagine filling up with the breath. So imagine as you sip that air in, filling up from the pelvic floor all the way up to the top of the head. And then as you exhale, open the mouth, relax the jaw, find a little sigh, empty out. Inhale, filling up. Exhale, emptying out. And just continue that at your own pace. We're looking for our individual rhythm. And that rhythm is going to be really the music of the practice. So I often think of our postures as kind of a meditative dance, if you will. And in that metaphor, the breath is really the music. It's the rhythm, the cadence. So we're looking for that individual rhythm that's going to really drive our practice. Take 2 more of those nice long breaths. Finishing up that last breath, and then go ahead and either blink the eyes open or shift your gaze back to the screen. We're going to start in easy pose or cross-legged position. So I'd like you to bring your left ankle in front to start. Obviously, if you're on a chair, then you're just going to stay in the chair. But if you're cross-legged, bring that left ankle in front. And we're going to make counterclockwise circles. So just nice, big counterclockwise circles around the pelvis. Make this movement as large as you comfortably can. And try to find some way to move with that breath, move with that rhythm. And then inhaling all the way back to center. We're going to extend our left heel out, draw the right heel in towards the perineum. And then from there, it's fine to have a bent knee on that left side, but I do want you to activate through the foot. So pull the left toes back towards the kneecap, even if that left knee needs to stay bent. And then we're just going to do a little flowing twist here. So really plug in through the sits bones. Nice big inhale. As you exhale, twist around to the right. And as you twist, really press the heads of the arm bones back. Reach out across the collarbones. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the right. Now, optionally, if you'd like to add the arms here, you can inhale. When you come to the center, you're just going to reach the arms straight up. And then as you exhale, just bring the hands down either side of the leg. One more time to the center, and then over to the left, back to center, and then over to the right. Now, really pin that right sits bone to the ground. Stay nice and grounded. Twist the torso around as far to the left as you can. Keep that left foot active. And then keeping right sits bone on the ground, just walk forward. It is first thing in the morning, so you're probably going to want a little bend in that left knee. You want to really reach out through the lumbar spine. Reach the crown of the head for the left toes. And then walk yourself all the way back up, back to center. Draw that left heel in, and then we're going to switch the cross of the legs. So bring right ankle in front. Sit up nice and tall. Find that little toning action in the lower belly that just lengthens the lumbar spine. And this time we're going to take clockwise circles around the pelvis. Again, make those circles as big as you comfortably can. And try to find a way to sync them up with the breath. And it doesn't really matter what rhythm you find. It just matters that you're starting to sync breath and movement. One more time around. All the way back to center. And then this time we will extend our right leg. Left heel is going to draw in. All right, just like we did on the other side, go ahead and activate through that right leg. Again, a little bend is just fine, especially because this is a morning class. Our hamstrings are cold. But keep that right foot nice and engaged. And we'll start with that floating twist. So nice big inhale, get tall. Exhale, twist around to the left. Every time you twist, open up the collarbones. Inhale back to center. Exhale around to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale around to the left. And just find your own pace there, your own rhythm. If you would like to incorporate the arms, you can do so. If you've got any shoulder issues, don't worry about it. Last time, we were going to hold to the right. Grounding deeply through that left side. Keep the right foot active, and we're just going to walk out over that right leg. every inhale, see if you can find a little bit more length in the spine. Very nice. Walk the hands back up. Swing that right heel in. And then nice big inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. As you exhale, drop the hands behind you. Just tent the fingertips behind the sits bones. Roll the shoulders back. Lift the heart. Maybe look up at the ceiling if that's okay on your neck. Coming back to center. We're going to transition onto all fours. So however you can get there. We're going to set up for down dog. So really spread the fingers wide. Activate through the pads of the knuckles, the pads of the fingers. Rotate the triceps in so the creases of the elbows come forward. Knees should be right underneath the hips. Start with a nice neutral spine. We're going to inhale, curl the toes under. Exhale, press up and back. Down dog. It's our first one of the morning. So let's start by just articulating the feet a little bit, just as much as is comfortable for you. Eventually settling back into the heels, getting very long through the lumbar spine here. And perhaps play around with bending the knees and seeing if that brings a little bit more space into the lower back. Finding that beautiful kind of backwards propulsion of the spine. Head hanging between the shoulders. Good. And then drop the knees all the way back down to the ground. Good job. And we're going to come into a low lunge. So step your right foot forward between the hands. Slide that left kneecap as far back as you comfortably can. Left toes are flat. And just start here by shining the chest forward. And then we're going to bring both hands to the inside of that right foot. Walk the right foot out to the outer edge of the mat. We call this lizard pose. So I want you to squeeze that right knee in towards the midline. It's going to try to kind of flop out. So keep it squeezed into the midline. If this is already a really good stretch for you, you can stay right here. If you have a little bit more room, you can start to soften the elbows towards the ground. You can always put a book under your elbows or a block, or you can come all the way down to the forearms. Just wherever you end up, make sure you can keep squeezing that right knee in. And back up on the hands. Now you're going to keep that right foot just where it is. Come into a half split variation. So curl your left toes under behind you, and then just as much as you can, straighten out that right knee. You can always come up on the fingertips here. If you have pretty open hamstrings, you can settle all the way back towards that left heel. But you do whatever you can do. So this is just fine. Imagine reaching back through the hip creases, forward towards the top of the mat through the crown of the head. Really pull those right toes back. Bending the right knee, coming forward once more. Make sure that that right knee is right over the ankle, and then walk it back in so that the hip and the knee line up, right hand on the outside of the right foot. We're going to keep the left toes curled under, lift up that left knee, and then just a gentle back and forth action from front to back of the mat. Drop that left knee one more time, flatten out the toes, find a little tone in the lower belly. Nice big inhale, reach the arms up. Big psoas and quadriceps stretch. Your next exhale, we're going to twist around to the right. So just bring your left hand down to the outside of the right knee. Right arm can just drop to the right side, or it can wrap around the back of the waist. And then just gently twist the spine to the right. Just like we did at the beginning of class, really press the heads of the arm bones back, reach out and across the collarbones. Good, and then releasing that twist. Bring the hands down, bring the right knee back underneath the right hip. And then let's melt all the way back into child's pose. Big toes are together, knees about mat width apart here, and really melt the lower back, melt the buttocks back towards the heels. Take a couple of deep breaths into the back of the body. And coming back up. I'm sorry about that, guys. I have to figure out how to turn that off on my computer and not just on my phone. I will figure that out at the end of class. All right, so other side. Step your left foot forward between the hands. Start by just reaching forward, wrapping the triceps in, slide that right kneecap back. And then bring both hands to the inside of that left foot. Walk the left foot out to the left. It's going to be about the left edge of the mat for most of us. It could even be a little past the mat, just depending on your proportions. Squeeze that left knee in towards the midline. And then any amount of softening towards the floor here. So that could just be a very small bend in the elbows. It could be all the way down. It could be up on one elbow, the other kind of swinging. But keep squeezing that left knee in. This is a big outer hip opener. All the way back up on the hands. Coming into that little half split variation, curl the toes under. And then just start to straighten out that front knee. Again, this can be very little straightening if it needs to be, right? So if you need to, come up on the fingertips, tent the fingers, and just give yourself a gentle backwards movement. If your hamstrings are a little more open, you can slide all the way back. Make sure that these poses are serving you, not the other way around. Once again, find a nice traction through the spine, reaching simultaneously back through the hip creases, forward through the crown of the head. Floating back, forward. Flatten out the toes. Walk that left foot back in underneath the hip. Nice big inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, twisting around to the left. And really any variation on twist works here. Just really crack the chest open, find a little lift in the sternum. Releasing the twist. Last time here, slide that left knee back. Spread the knees a little wider than the hips. Sink all the way back. For this child's pose, let's wrap the arms around the outer legs and bring the right cheek down to the floor. And just switch sides, bring the left cheek down to the floor. And coming all the way up. Swing the feet out in front of you. Feet flat on the floor. And then nice big inhale, lift the sternum. Any amount here, reach the arms out. Sit right up on those sits bones. Pull the lower belly in and see if you can just hover the feet off the ground. Any amount. This boat pose. Drop the feet to the floor. Give yourself a little hug. Tuck your nose in between your knees. And then rolling all the way down to the floor. Keep the knees hugging in. And we'll just draw circles on the ceiling with our knees. We're going to go both directions, so just pick a direction. Go the opposite way. Coming back to center, squeeze the knees in. Nice little twist, reach the arms out even with the shoulders, palms up. As you exhale, drop your knees over to the left. As much as you can, try to keep the knees and the ankles stacked. If this is too much for that right shoulder, if you have any shoulder issues, then you can always just rest the right hand on the right rib cage. It takes a little bit of stress off of the shoulders. Inhale back to center. Exhale, drop the knees over to the right. making the twist work for you. So if that left arm extended doesn't feel good, then just bring the arm in. Inhale back to center. And just extend both heels straight up to the sky. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Just muscularly draw the thighs in towards the body, keeping the feet active. And then drop the feet back to the floor. We're going to settle in for just a few minutes of rest here. So if it feels good, you're just going to remain on your back. I'm going to sit up so you can hear me better. You can always do your rest seated as well, but I think for a lot of us, lying down feels really nice after a practice. If you are comfortable closing your eyes, go ahead and close the eyes. If not, then just try to soften your gaze, looking at nothing in particular. And then sinking into that rhythm, at least for me, as I move through the postures, that rhythm gets more easily discernible. So now allowing that rhythm to really kind of overtake your conscious thoughts, letting it kind of drown out all of that chattering and chittering in your mind, so that there's just the sound of the breath. And the sensation of the body simultaneously light and heavy bones, grounding you to the earth, connecting you, and a light heart, a light spirit. We'll take just these few precious minutes at the end of class and allow ourselves to really let go. Let the rhythm of the breath overtake us. Sipping in a nice long inhalation through the nose. Opening the mouth, letting it go. When you're ready, draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself one last little hug. Perhaps congratulate yourself for coming to class. Showing up is always the hardest part. And when you're ready, roll to one side. And carefully and in your own time, make your way up to a seated position. Thank you all so much for coming. I hope that was of use. Everyone have a beautiful day.